वैराग्य विद्या निज भक्ति योगा शिक्षार्थमेक पुरुष पुराण श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य शरीर धारी कृपाम्बुदीयतमहं प्रपद्ये मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारणम् वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, warm welcome everyone in the study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So we'll continue our study from 16th chapter, text 13 onwards today. Uh, and Sri Krishna becomes easily available for someone who is easygoing. One who is easygoing, then Krishna becomes easily available for him or her. But one who is not so easygoing, then it is very difficult for the energy of Krishna to let Krishna become available for him or her. And we as well, if we want a easy ride in life, easy journey to Goloka Vrindavan, not easy journey to other planets. Hmm. But if we want a easy journey to spiritual world or easy journey to pure Krishna consciousness, then the key is to become easygoing. Easygoing means come what may, whatever is happening, I am all right, I am fine. If we can build this much of faith that well, Krishna is watching, Krishna is in control, Krishna has sanctioned it. So Krishna is very easygoing, na? Easygoing with any situation, with any circumstance. The more we have pride in Krishna, the more we share our bond, connection, love, relationship with Krishna, the more we'll find that okay, material energy, whatever upheaval it is bringing, but we would still be stable, and not just stable. We want to be in a different trajectory altogether. Now, just another thought. See, when someone gets to the age of 60 plus, 70 plus, then hands start a bit shaking, or even before people's hands start a bit shaking. But when someone is say 60, 70, 80 plus, then the connection between the mind and the body is a bit slow. The message from the brain to the body is a bit slow. The muscles body start to wear and tear down, and the hands start shaking and all. And in youth also, we should shake our hand a lot. In what? In using the hands in chanting the holy names of Krishna in japa. If one can shake his hands very nicely in japa, chanting the holy names of Krishna, in mantra meditation, in youth time, and continue it, then when at old age as well, the same message, the same, even though hand would be shaking because of some physical inability, say, but consciousness wise, one would be still better off. So, for someone who is easygoing, Krishna is easily available, accessible. And easygoing again means like one who is, irrespective of the outcome and the result, one who is happy, one who is still having no problems, no complaints. Easygoing, one who is flexible, one who is adjustable, one who is open for change, one who is open for suggestion, open for correction, open for rectification, open for improvement, and one who is working on it, one who is making the efforts, not just in theory. We many times hear in theory, okay, I'm open for improvement, but it has to be seen in action. So, with this hope, prayer, mood, seeking requiring this blessing that we are always open for correction, open for improvement, not just in words, in action as well. And we continue chanting the holy names of Krishna on beads, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, with good absorption, with good attention. So we continue our studies, chapter 16, text 13 to 15. इदमदय मया लब्धम् इमं प्राप्स्य मनोरथम् इदमस्तीदम् अपि मे भविष्यति पुनर्धनम् असौ मया हतः शत्रुर्हनिष्ये चापरान् अपि ईश्वरोऽहम् अहं भोगी सिद्धोऽहं बलवान् सुखी आद्यो अभिजिग् आद्यो अभिजनवानस्मि कोऽन्योऽस्ति सदृशो मया यक्ष्ये दास्यामि मोदिष्य इति अज्ञानविमोहितम्. Okay, shall read translation and purport. Well, this is only translation, read translation.
The demoniac person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man, surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance.
Hmm. Okay, let us read the next one as well and try to discuss overall. I think we read yesterday 11 to 12, but couldn't manage to discuss a bit. So let's read the next as well and see. अनेकचित्तविभ्रान्ता मोहजालसमावृता प्रसक्तकामभोगेषु पतन्ति नरकेषु च. I shall read translation and maybe Pip can read purport. Huh?
Thus, perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell.
The demoniac man knows no limit to his desire to acquire money. That is unlimited. He thinks only of how much assessment he has just now and schemes to engage that stock of wealth further and further. For that reason, he does not hesitate to act in any sinful way and so deals in the black market for illegal gratification. He is enamored by the possessions he has already, such as land, family, house, and bank balance, and he is always planning to improve them. He believes in his own strength and does not know that whatever he is gaining is due to his past good deeds. He is given an opportunity to accumulate such things, but he has no conception of past causes. He simply thinks that all his mass of wealth is due to his own endeavor. A demoniac person believes in the strength of his personal work, not in the law of karma. According to the law of karma, a man takes his birth in a high family, or becomes rich, or very well educated, or very beautiful, because of good work in the past. The demoniac think that all these things are accidental and due to the strength of one's personal ability. They do not sense any arrangement behind all the varieties of people, beauty, and education. Anyone who comes into competition with such a demoniac man is his enemy. There are many demoniac people, and each is enemy to the others. This enmity becomes more and more deep between persons, then between families, then between societies, and at last between nations. Therefore, there is constant strife, war, and enmity all over the world. Each demoniac person thinks that he can live at the sacrifice of all others. Generally, a demoniac person thinks of himself as the supreme God, and a demoniac preacher tells his followers, "Why are you seeking God elsewhere? You are all yourselves God. Whatever you like, you can do. Don't believe in God. Throw away God. God is dead." These are the demoniac's preachings. Although the demoniac person sees others equally rich and influential, or even more so, he thinks that no one is richer than he, and that no one is more influential than he. As far as promotion to the higher planetary systems is concerned, he does not believe in performing yajnas or sacrifices. Demons think that they will manufacture their own process of yajna and prepare some machine by which they will be able to reach any higher planet. The best example of such a demoniac man was Ravana. He offered a program to the people by which he would prepare a staircase so that anyone could reach the heavenly planets without performing sacrifices, such as are prescribed in the Vedas. Similarly, in the present age, such demoniac men are striving to reach the higher planetary systems by mechanical arrangements. These are examples of bewilderment. The result is that, without their knowledge, they are gliding toward hell. Here is the Sanskrit word mohajal, is very significant. Jala means net, like fish caught in a net. They have no way to come out. Translation. Thus, perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell.
Hare Krishna. Life is meant not to fall down, but life is meant to excel, to glide up or slide up, not slide down or glide down, to excel. And practicing Krishna consciousness is an uphill task for sure. It is definitely an uphill task. But you know what helps in this uphill task? If we can continue going further and further up and up, upwards and upwards. When going for an uphill task, uh, it is like there will be many stops on the way, many stops in the journey, say. But if we get stuck somewhere, then it's very difficult. Making a restart or a fresh start, then if we settle down anywhere. And imagine if we are going climbing a hill and say at somewhere in the bottom we left our phone or we left our bag, we left something. Now it will be very difficult for us. Like if we left something at the bottom, then we have to come down again, collect, and make again a fresh start. So, by meaning, we should not be growing externally, just internally. As in, we should grow up and up, or forward and forward, upwards and upwards, and leave behind those attachments once for all. Leave them behind. Completely cut them off, those material desires and material attachments. It will be at the back of our mind, but it should not disturb us. This is what easygoing means. There's a devotee, Dhruv Narayan Prabhu, very amazing devotee. He conducts many Bhagavad Kathas programs. So he's in Brahmachari Ashram, disciple of His Holiness Radha Govinda Maharaj. And Dhruv Narayan Prabhu, when he passed out from his university, he was sure he wanted to join the Brahmacharya ashram and passing out from his university, he when he got his convocation degree letter, the very same day he actually tore it apart. The very same day. Why? Because he says, I didn't want to have this as a lingering thought in my head. I want to be in Brahmacharya ashram forever. Now, 5 years, 10 years down the road, I don't want to look back and see, oh, okay, I have an option B, I have a plan B. What? I still have that degree and I can get a job and leave the Brahmacharya ashram. And no, he was very fixed up. He's very fixed up. So, likewise, we should be very fixed up in our approach, in our consciousness, in our purpose, in our understanding and vision of Krishna consciousness. Uh, what we are practicing, we know, okay, as a process wise, okay, chanting, reading, hearing. It is the why bit. Why am I doing it? More and more, the why should be clear. Uh, The more our why part will be clear, the more we will find relish and charm in the practice of Krishna consciousness. And these translations which speak of the demonic qualities, they are no exaggeration. No exaggeration. Like just the previous one says, no, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future more and more. And he is my enemy, and this is all very true. All very true. Uh, we at a gross level we may struggle to find ourselves like this, but once we take into the practice of Krishna consciousness, we find ourselves that we are so self-centered, or we are so egoistically driven, heavy egoistically driven. There was an assembly of sadhus, and one of the sadhu he came and he said, "If I go, I will go." Hmm. So, मैं जाएगा तो मैं जाएगा. He was saying, if I go, I will go. If I go, I will go. Hmm? Meaning like he was meaning to say that if I want to go or say if I go, I will go. Go as in where to the spiritual abode. If I go, I will go. Some other way interpreting or studying or reading or getting the message that look how stubborn is he, or how pride is he, that he's just like look at his arrogance. He's saying if I go, I will go, as in like if I want or no one is going to stop me. But the thing is, if I go, I will go. Now what is that I? If that I-ness, not I, just the I-ness, the material ego, the material desire, if that vanishes, if that goes away, then yes, one has gone. That material desire has to go, that material thought process, that material identification. So this I, na, if I go, I will go. This I-ness of material identity has to go. And it is very difficult to give up this I-ness, materially motivated I-ness altogether. Uh, we are egoistically very attached to ourselves, na? At a very material platform, we are very egoistically attached. And Krishna is also attached to himself and to us as well, but completely spiritually, not egoistically. And we are attached, but very with material thought process, calculations, demands. And this is why there is lack of connection. And the day we become a bit spiritually attached to Krishna, then we'll find very good connection. So nothing of it is like an exaggeration in here. Uh, and again our, as we were discussing yesterday also, our context in this world could be less. We may not be knowing the whole world, but whosoever we know, we want to stand out in friends, family, even in devotee community. There is a bit of khinchatani, na, a bit of tug of war, say. But this khinchatani in devotee community is still healthy because Krishna is at the center. And the process is at the center, and this shows us, tells us that how impure we are. Some signs of advancement in Krishna consciousness. One sign of advancement in Krishna consciousness is that to understand that how far off am I. If one can kind of genuinely understand, I'm very far off. How fallen am I? How impure am I? And a very good sign of advancement in Krishna consciousness is to be free from fault finding mentality, to be free from critical mentality, to be free from fault finding critical mentality. Then one can save himself, one can do himself a great deal of favor. For ourselves, we can be doubting, but for others, we should always give a benefit of doubt. Uh, and until and unless someone is not, say, in our direct jurisdiction, then we shouldn't really poke our nose in. We should mind our own business. We should check ourselves. And for others, everyone is a very advanced devotee. One could be a 4-year-old girl, right? We have in our community a devotee called Vrinda. I believe she's 4-year-old. Mm, and very good, like she does kirtan. Mm, and her parents say like, wow, she's, yeah, children, they help their parents to be actually Krishna conscious. Children's help their parents, and children's like, they're so pure or natural without any materially tainted intelligence. Their heart is very open to take into Krishna consciousness and practice as well. So this openness, this genuineness, this simplicity has to be brought in life more and more. Otherwise, it is a network. It is a network of illusion. It is a network of unlimited desires. Has anyone been able to satisfy his desires? No, material desires never get satisfied. They just transfer, they transform and take different shapes. Now, very much in India, na, in societal settings, people say, क्या हम इतने भी बुरे नहीं हैं? They say what? That I'm not that bad as well. Hmm, I'm not that bad as well. हम इतने भी बुरे नहीं हैं, है ना? I'm not that bad as well. But at least one considers or acknowledges, okay, I'm somewhat bad. uh, But when we say this, generally we take it as a license that, okay, I'm somewhat bad, but I'm better than him or her. And this much bad is fine. This doesn't bother us. But no, we have to look ourselves. If I can identify, spot myself that I'm somewhat bad, then I must work on it. I must try to improve that. I must try to check myself. Until and unless we have an authority or says over other, we should not poke in. So material world Kali Yuga na quarrel and hypocrisy for unnecessary, unnecessary. Even Russia-Ukraine war and whatever is going, everything is egoistically driven. There is no valid reason for any of this other than greed, other than ego, other than one's own agenda. That is Kali Yuga, symptomized by quarrel and ignorance, quarrel and hypocrisy. And in Kali Yuga, people are very argumentative. They like to argue, isn't it? People like to argue in Kali Yuga, isn't it? So people are very argumentative. They would like to argue. They would like to see one of the most like abominable quality is what? To defend oneself, to defend, to prove that I am right, isn't it, babe? To defend oneself, to prove that I am right, to prove that I am better and all. The sun doesn't need any proving. The sun appears and everyone gets to know. Krishna also doesn't want us to prove, isn't it? Krishna doesn't want us to prove anything to him. No. He just says like if you can acknowledge that there is no proof required. Just that much. So defend, to defend is not a good quality. Truth is always peaceful and always silent. So if someone is truthful, he doesn't need to make a huge cry over it. He doesn't need to make a big show over it. If someone is crying or making a big show, then there is some potentially some hidden agenda or something wrong in there. So for a soul proper, these are not good qualities. What to be argumentative, uh, and then to show that I am good, to prove that I am good, to defend, to validate, to seek appreciation, to sound good, to look good, to appear good, to talk good, with a view to be so that I am seen as good. How, what good does it do? No. So in pure Krishna consciousness, there's not much of a scope actually for political correctness, or there's not much of a scope for mundane morality. Yeah, the culture, the etiquette, the societal norm, the behavior that has to be understood, respected, honored. Uh, it doesn't mean that we do not obey the local government rules and all. Yeah, we are okay with that, and we don't want to go any political. But within my consciousness, I need not be any trying to sound or be politically correct. Simplicity of the heart is required. Mm, Krishna is the most uh, clean, simple personality, and he likes everything simple. So once I have the simplicity of the heart, then everything will be fine. Then Krishna, I will be more in tune with Krishna consciousness. It is just when I start to act like a monkey and jump or do some more tricks or try to act any smart, then life of a devotee should be like an open book. Krishna's life is an open book. Life of a devotee also should be open book. It need not be an open book for everyone, but at least for Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, it should be an open book. Na? It should be a bit more transparent. That life of a devotee. So if I am being transparent with someone, then Krishna will be more transparent with us. That is the way out. See, otherwise it sounds very hypocrite, is it not? Um a devotee as well, but not an open book. Doesn't go well together. Mahaprabhu was very strict with culture, etiquette. See, Haridas Thakur, Namacharya Haridas Thakur is referred to as he was born in a Muslim family, but a pure devotee of Mahaprabhu, say, and he was not allowed to enter Jagannath temple. But Mahaprabhu respected the culture, the etiquette. Haridas Thakur also respected. He said, "No, I'm not allowed. I wouldn't go." And Mahaprabhu also acknowledged that. Mahaprabhu didn't make a political show out of it that let him go, let him go. No. So the thing is, we are not bound up by some political or material or some law oriented agenda. No. Mahaprabhu is freely accessible, freely available. That culture and the etiquette, the norm has to be respected, which is always good. Mahaprabhu's teachings is fundamental or the core part is what? Uh, Asatyare Satyamani, Ai Vaishnavayachar. Or this Asatya Sangatyagi, Ai Vaishnavachar. To give up material association, to give up mundane material association. Mahaprabhu becomes very pleased when he sees that his devotees are performing austerity and detachment and they are given up mundane material attachment uh, and they are becoming genuine. This is what dare to be rare. If we can be genuine, simple, and honest. Who is more strength? Uh, who is more powerful? What does strength mean? Strength means showing self control, not losing self control. Strength doesn't mean going bodybuilding and showing anger, or strength doesn't mean How can I shout at my mother, father, or wife, or husband, or children, or neighbors, or my subordinate, or someone for that matter? How can I make them afraid? How can I fear them, put fear on them? How can I control them? No. Real strength or courage is shown by how much tolerance do I have, and how much self control do I have. That is real strength. But in demonic mentality, they are ready to fight. At the drop of a hat, ready to fight. Hmm? Any short, small thing, ready to fight, ready to defend, ready to quarrel, argue, not at all open, not at all genuine, not trustworthy, cannot be trusted. So our dealings with devotees and our dealings with karmis have to be different. They have to be. Karmis could be family members, could be relatives, but still it has to be different. Culture etiquette, yes, we try not to come as offending or hurting, disrespectful to anyone, but the dealings has to be on a different platform if we want to grow and if we want to be of help to someone else. Okay, any thoughts, questions, or comments? Yeah, Pip. Hmm. Yeah, so Harsha, did you hear Pip's question? Or Anuja or Rajshri, anyone heard Pip's question?
No, Prabhuji, it was not audible.
Okay. So Pip's question is like text 15, I think, or no, sorry, yeah, text 13 to 15, or some one of these texts is like a demonic person, he performs sacrifices. Yeah, this one only. I shall perform sacrifices. I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. So the the motive of sacrifice, how is it like someone saying I shall perform sacrifice and be demonic as well? That is the question. Uh, so the motive of sacrifice, many people want to sacrifice, but what? So that I enjoy. Many people work so hard in life, want to create, want to do, but what? So that I enjoy. Or society also enjoys, but via me. Hmm. There is definitely an element of subtle sense enjoyment, subtle pride that I did this, I developed this, and want to eradicate God or give any credit to God. A question, see, what does God receive more? Blame or credit? Hmm? What do you think, Arohi? So, yeah, Anuja?
Blame.
Blame. What does God receive more? Blame or credit? More blame only. So these all this sacrifice wanting to do uh, and charity, and the motive is what? I shall rejoice. I am the aham swami aham bhogi, na? This I think I am perfect, I am powerful. So we previously also asked this question. What would we prefer? To be genius or lucky? So we ask again, what would we prefer? To be genius or lucky? Or
Lucky.
what would we prefer? To be genius or fortunate? Say if lucky sounds a bit uh, something tricky wise. Yes, Anuja.
Fortunate.
Hmm. Us practicing Krishna consciousness means we are dependent on Krishna. We are dependent on fortune, definitely. And real fortune is what? Coming from the internal energy, the potency of Krishna, and we are dependent on that. If someone wants to be genius, he has to be fortunate, he has to be lucky. That is our genius. Uh, Otherwise, with an element of genius comes a sense of self worth, self thing. I am the doer, I can do it, I have done it, all these things. And them all pushes us back. So, the first thing Krishna, what was the first science Krishna taught to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita? This is a question. The first science, the first learning, the first teaching, the first knowledge.
Tolerance.
What?
Tolerance.
Tolerance. Something even before tolerance, he revealed some science to Krishna, Arjuna.
I am the soul, I am not the body.
Yes, that Arjuna, you are a spirit soul, you are not this material body, or you are not this material body. So the first thing is to be clear of one's identity. Only when the identity is clear, only then I can function well in society. If I'm going with a wrong identity, I can never function well. And this is why we struggle now. Because look, why is tolerance required? Where is tolerance required? Where there is some incompatibility. uh, Where there is some incompatibility, only there we need to tolerate or adjust. Where there is good compatibility, good friendship, then we don't have to tolerate or adjust. We do not tolerate. So now, deep down in real identity, I am a spirit soul, but engaged or living in this material body. So still there is a, although the soul is aloof from matter altogether, but yet it shares a relationship with matter since eternity. So now the two are incompatible. So this is why tolerate until and unless we come to our natural position. This is why tolerance. And once we have revived our Krishna consciousness, or we are in our original position, or we are very at the level of attachment, or at the level of bhav, or at the level of prem, then it won't be a question of tolerance then. Mhm. Then it's not at all a question. Then it will be a natural proclivity to be naturally immersed in Krishna prem, or naturally be all right, say. But until that, we have to tolerate and tolerate without being disturbed. So, to begin with, even if we are getting disturbed, still we should not be disturbed that we are getting disturbed. We shouldn't be very disturbed that I am getting disturbed. W- Baba, what will if I'm not getting disturbed? What else can I expect? Hmm? Because I've never practiced Krishna consciousness as such. So if I'm practicing, then I'm bound to be getting disturbed. But gradually keep calm and carry on, keep calm and carry on, keep calm and carry on. And one day will come when I won't be disturbed. Surely. We have to make a start and show patience. Be more confident and enthused and keep patience. Okay, any other thoughts, questions, or comments? So Pip has a. Mhm. Mm. So Pip has a question like, as far as promotion to higher planetary systems is concerned, he doesn't believe in performing sacrifices in the purport, right? Yeah. So demonic persons, na, they they do not like following what the scriptures say. Scriptures allow, yeah, heavenly planets, but there is a process, and that is selfless sacrifice. The, out of good karma, selfless karma only, can one attain heavenly planets. Out of selfless karma, and that is the process, and enjoined same. But demonic persons, they are so uh, puffed up with their own ability and all that Ravana, na, I will build a staircase to heaven. Mm. So to deny the existence of God, or to deny, and yes, we don't need, we can still do. That is this. Okay, I don't need. Very argumentative, na? Very easily, quickly getting boiled. Very egoistic, puffed up. Who are you? Who do you think you are? Do not teach me. Do not tell me that what scriptures say and all. I can still do it without understanding the scriptures, or I don't know. Scriptures are man-made. All such things. And with this, no one gets into heaven. No, they get more and more into material entanglement. But yeah, if one properly follows the Vedic scriptures, the process injunctions, then yes, one can enter into heaven. But the criteria is for selfless duty, then one can enter into heaven. One does good mysticism, mystic yoga, then one can enter further higher heavenly planets through Gyan, mysticism and all. And through Bhakti Yoga, through Prem, through love for Krishna, one can enter the transcendental realm. Does that answer? Okay, Rajshri, you were saying something?
Yes, Prabhuji, I had a question from this chapter. So in
Hmm.
Shloka 19 and 20, Lord Krishna says that, people who are envious, who are having demoniac qualities, and, who are maybe not practicing devotion. It's my understanding. So they are perpetually again falling into this material existence and going further down and down in terms of evolution. Uh, so if that is the case, then people who are completely into demoniac way of life, how will they ever be able to get back, or how will they ever be able to get into the path of devotion if they keep
Hmm.
falling down?
Very nice question, very practical question. So let us read next. We next is what text 17. Let us read 17, 18, and 19 also, and we'll try to discuss. So text 17, Atma Sambhavita Stabdam. Text 17. So we see that, and Arohi says she will read the shloka. आत्मसम्भाविता स्तब्धा धनमान मदान्विता यजन्ते नाम यज्ञस्ते दम्भेनाविधिपूर्वकम्. Okay, Anuja, read translation and purport.
Self-complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige, they sometimes proudly perform sacrifices in name only, without following any rules or regulations. Purport: thinking themselves all in all, not caring for any other authority or scripture, the demonic sometimes perform so-called religious or sacrificial rites, and since they do not believe in authority, they are very impudent. This is due to illusion caused by accumulating some wealth and false prestige. Sometimes such demons take up the role of preacher, mislead the people, and become known as religious reformers or as incarnations of God. They make a show of performing sacrifices, or they worship the demigods, or manufacture their own god. Common men advertise them as God and worship them, and by the foolish they are considered advanced in the principles of religion or in the principles of spiritual knowledge. They take the dress of the renounced order of life and engage in all nonsense in that dress. Actually, there are so many restrictions for one who has renounced this world. The demons, however, do not care for such restrictions. They think that whatever path one can create is, is one's path, one's own path. There is no such thing as a standard path one has to follow. The word avidhi purvakam, meaning a disregard for the rules and regulations, is especially stressed here. These things are always due to ignorance and illusion. Self complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige, they sometimes proudly perform sacrifices in name only, without following any rules and regulations.
self self-complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige. They sometimes proudly perform sacrifices in name wholly without following any rules or regulations.
Hare Krishna. This is our Arohi, by the way. Mm, Studying in Glasgow, and yeah, Arohi in Gaura Purnima, she sang Bhaja Gauranga, Kaha Gauranga, right? Yeah, nice. Yeah, Arohi sang Bhaja Gauranga, Kaha Gauranga, Leha Gauranga Ra Naam Re, and her sister Avani had played flute on that, right? Yeah. So, self-complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige, they sometimes proudly perform sacrifices in name only without following any rules or regulations. So, this is again chapter 16, divine and demoniac nature. We should always bear in mind Krishna is not saying divine and demoniac person, but he's saying divine and demoniac nature. Person deep down, everyone is good only. Everyone is pure soul, na? Potential pure devotee of Krishna. Everyone is a has an eternal bond and connection with Krishna. But because the mind is not rightly situated, or because the soul proper misidentifies with matter and lives with such matter consciousness or matter absorption or heavily in bodily identity of life, then it takes on this material garb. In material garb, it takes on all this material garbage. And then comes about this pride, vanity, and everything. Just like a raindrop, when it drops from the sky high up, it is pure. The molecular position, composition of water is very pure. But as it comes closer and closer in contact with earth, it starts getting a bit more and more and more dirty. Mm. Likewise, the more we associate with material nature, material thought process, identity, or we are living in big time misidentity crisis, big time. So the more we identify ourselves as matter, then all this is going to be dumped into us. We are going to take it. Mm. But person, so for us to have a good healthy relationships overall, we should always try to distinguish between the person and the mind. Then we will find ourselves to having a good peace of mind. Now, deluded by wealth and false prestige, they sometimes proudly perform sacrifices in name only. And we see this in every part of the world. Those who are atheists as well, they also want to do some sacrifices proudly in name only. Yeah. Look in jobs, offices, companies, and politics and all everywhere. Many would be atheists, but still they want their own name, fame, mm, and so much sacrifice. And many theists as well, but would want to show that we perform some religion, we perform some sacrifice, we are also good, we are also pious. And then this religious oriented competition, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, and all, that is not the real religion, or that is not the purpose. The real religion is to invoke unconditional, unmotivated love for Krishna. And we do need rules and regulations. It is not that we do not need rules and regulations. We need discipline in life. Yoga means what? Yoga begins with some mind control and sense control. And without discipline, no one can attain anything. No one. Even if someone has to be lazy and crazy, then he has to be disciplined in being lazy and crazy. One cannot attain the title of lazy and crazy without being disciplined in that as well. So, discipline is required everywhere. So, yoga begins with again good sense control, mind control, bringing some discipline in our lives. And with that discipline, we can further excel, we can further advance. Otherwise, we cannot attain anything. And Prabhupada writes in his purport, one of the sentences, I believe, Bhagavad Gita text, chapter 3, text 8, I think, or 7, that it is much better to be a sincere sweeper in the street than to be a charlatan meditator. Charlatan means pretender, show bottle. So it is much better to be a sincere sweeper. And Krishna says also in Bhagavad Gita, do good what you are good at, rather than trying to imitate or take someone else's role. No. So whatever we do, we should do it nicely. And even if we are a bit doing it faultily, but whatever is within us, we should be doing that. Right now, so much hodgepodge. Why? Because Shudras are wanting to become Brahmanas and Brahmanas are acting as Shudras. So there is going to be that hodgepodge. All everything materially motivated. A sadhu should be one who is free from pride, who is free from appreciation. This the gross sense enjoyment is one thing, but the subtle is even more filthy than the gross. The subtle is even more dirty than the gross. Subtle sense enjoyment. And someone who is too puffed up, but that I know. See, again, take this as a question. Which circle is the most bigger? Huh? So, first question, I know that I know. How much I know that I know in life. So, how much percentage can we allocate? I know that I know. How much do I know in life? What would we say? 20%, 40, 50, 80%? I know that I know in life. What? 19%? Anuja, Rajshri, Harsha, Pep, Akshit.
Not more
Uh,
than 20.
not more than?
20.
Not more than. Okay. But can we say 20%?
Yes.
So, do you think we can say 20% of the world affairs, 20% of the world workings, even at gross level, say, we know almost 0%. Uh, almost 0.1% is what we can actually claim. I know that I know. Hmm. Now, next is I know that I do not know. How much big that circle will be? How much can we allocate percentage wise? I know that I do not know. I know that I do not know what. I know that I do not know the rocket science thing. I know that I do not know politics. I do politics though, but I know that I do not know politics. I know that I do not know what uh, business say. I know that I do not know so many languages and all. So easily 95, 98%, I can say, close to 99%. I know that I do not know. What do you say, Pip? I know that I do not know. Pip says just 2% say. I can say that I know that I do not know. I think we can write more. Yes, I know that I do not know this. I know that I do not know this. May not be 90%, but it could be more than 2% say. Mm. But now the most interesting one say. I do not know that I do not even know. How much can we assign? I do not know that I do not even know. And if I am firm, fixed up in this, then I am a candidate to take on the message of Bhagavad Gita. But if I'm too puffed up that I know it, I already know it, tell you something. It's actually a truth. Many Indians, those who go to the Western world and meet devotees, devotees distributing books, Bhagavad Gita. Oh, Bhagavad Gita, I know. Of course, why wouldn't I know? I'm an Indian. I come from India. What else do you expect? Say, huh? Tell me something new. Tell me something different. Tell me something more. What is that? But if we ask, genuinely say, can we tell five shlokas from Bhagavad Gita? Hmm? Do we know how many shlokas are there in Bhagavad Gita? Do we know there are 19 chapters in Bhagavad Gita? Huh? How many? What do we know actually Bhagavad Gita? How much can I say? But if we are asked to say of software programming and all and whatnot, well, so thing is we do not know, but just culturally or Hindu or that pride and we go on saying. So it is someone. Uh, one is a very good candidate. The message will come just like that. If he acknowledges that I do not know that I do not know, or I know that I do not know. Now, if I sincerely acknowledge that I don't know that I don't know, or I know that I do not know, then what will Krishna do? The very first circle, I know that I know. Krishna will make that the biggest circle. Then by Krishna's blessing, Krishna residing as Paramatma within our heart, or Krishna will speak to us and let us know. Then that circle will become very big. Otherwise, if I'm too puffed up, I can never understand the message of Bhagavad Gita. Uh, so this is what this say one who is by driven by wealth, false prestige and all, uh, impudent, self-complacent. Then all this we will take into consideration heavily. And be it Krishna consciousness or be it academic education or be it job, everywhere humility is required. Knowledge is acquired through humility only. Through humility. There's no other way out. If we want to learn something, we have to be humble. Doesn't matter whichever part of the world we are living in. We may be theist or atheist, doesn't matter. One has to be humble if one wants to sincerely learn something and retain that knowledge. Mm. It's another thing, education system, how much humble does it make or how much pride puffed up does it make us? Okay, any thoughts, questions, or comments? Also, see another thing, na? This chapter we are studying divine and demoniac nature. Now, see, it may happen that we may have lots to talk about demoniac nature. Why? Because we know a lot, maybe about demoniac mentality. Oh, yeah, that point as well, this point as well. Look from this perspective, that perspective. But when it comes to cleanliness, take this now. Ask if we check ourselves. Okay, tell something on cleanliness. How much can we go on speaking on cleanliness? And if at all, mostly external cleanliness. Hmm? But if we have to speak something on pride, if we have to speak something on someone who is very wealthy and very puffed up, yeah, we will have lots to say, perhaps. Uh, if we have to speak something on ego, say, materially very driven, we will have lot to say. But if we are asked to speak on something, say, compassion, we might find a bit short of words. Thing is, bad habits they catch fast, and this world definitely we are living in a very low energy. We are carrying a very low energy. And Bhagavad Gita brings us into the proper perspective, the proper right perspective, brings us into the right reality, the reality proper. And even though divine or demonic nature, whatever we are studying, still it will be uplifting for us. It will still be motivating us, helping us. Okay, Pip has a question or comment. So, question is when we study of this demoniac nature, we feel more that okay, it is me being discussed here. Is that the thing? Or and then how can we actually be not disturbed by it and actually work on acquiring more divine qualities? Is that the question? Yeah, how to become eligible? The real eligibility is by becoming humble. Arjuna, na, see, few things. Arjuna, he was such a learned person, very handsome, very charismatic, very talented, very skillful, everything, very pious as well. But he got into big time confusion and he acknowledged this to Krishna. So he said, Krishna, okay, Krishna, there are two things in life only: humility or humiliation. Humility or humiliation. Now, sometimes we become humble, we definitely become humble by humiliation. When we experience some humiliation and we do not have much control, okay, so we oblige, we become humble. And Mahaprabhu wants us to be naturally humble. If we want to free ourselves from humiliation, then become humble. For a humble person, no humiliation. Who can humiliate a humble person? Can someone humiliate a humble person? One who already is certified na himself, I am fallen. Then how can one tell him that no, you are even more fallen? Yes. One who is already hmm, one who already acknowledges, one who is already firm, and he or she becomes the best candidate then to take on the message of Bhagavad Gita or to take on those divine qualities. One who considers himself to be fallen only can rise, and Krishna can help him rise. But one who already considers that I don't need much help and I can straight away help or I can help others. You know what will Krishna? What is the worst thing a devotee would want to hear from Krishna? What is the worst thing a devotee would want to hear from Krishna? The worst thing a devotee can hear from Krishna would be, okay, you are on your own. All right. If you think so, then you are on your own. Like Krishna was once in Dwarka with Rukmini and honoring, having prasad, lunch, food. And then suddenly Krishna was a bit thinking, and also Rukmini asked Krishna, "What happened? You don't feel all right, and you're not having your lunch proper. You're not having your meal proper. You're constantly checking your phone and checking your WhatsApp. What is happening? That you are having meal with your phone. Generally, it is good not to have meal with your phone. Again, speaking of courage, if someone is courageous, can someone show to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner without looking at their phone, without touching their phone? Can someone show this much courage to have breakfast, lunch, dinner without looking their mobile phone or without looking television? Just the prasadam plate and eating the food with hands. Very real courage. So Rukmini was asking, "Where is your mind? Your mind is elsewhere." Krishna says, "Yes, my mind is elsewhere. There's a devotee of mine. He's in jungle, in forest. He's a bit stuck up, and he was doing sadhana, meditation, say japa, in isolation. He wanted, and what is happening now? A wild boar, a deer, or wild deer, or say a tiger is coming, and he sees the tiger coming." And now he's worried and he's seeking my shelter. He's calling me for help. But again, I'm going and I'm pushing myself back, going and pushing. Rukmin says, "Then go. If he's calling you for help, go and save him. Why not? Why are you not arranging for it?" But what is holding you back? Actually, he has seen a big stick also, and he's seen some fire match or something. So now he's not thinking of me, rather he's thinking of his own strength and caliber, that okay, I can use this stake, I can light up a lamp, and I can uh, create a fire and let the tiger run away. So if he wants to take matters on his hands, in his hands, without getting me involved, okay, fine, then so be it. You are on your own. And that is the most dangerous thing a sadhaka would like to hear. We don't want to be on our own. We are never on our own, but we want to be controlled by Krishna's internal energy rather than external energy. Yeah. We want to be controlled by Krishna's karunamaya energy, rather than by Maya Devi. So that is the way. By humility is the way to develop divine qualities. And it is humility wherein we can acknowledge that I am so messed up, or I am so heavily tainted by these material qualities. So in order to come out of humiliation, develop humility. There is no other way out. The sooner we become humble, for a humble person there is no humiliation. Definitely no insult, no humiliation. And for a humble person, any credit comes to him, he passes on to Guru and Gaurang. Any appreciation. And if any insult, he gladly accepts it. He accepts it without arguing, without justifying, without defending, without proving, hmm, without giving any reasons. So it is upon us how we want to traverse in life, what we want to make out of life. Everything is provided, help is round the corner as well. But how much vision do I understand and want to develop of life? We all have a role to play, and our part could be big or small depending on how much shelter we are taking of Krishna. That much of leverage freedom we get. See, no, devotees give this very nice example. What a cow living in a stable, huh? Then a cow, and there's an open field in the stable, say. So the cow person, the cow keeper, he does what? He strangles, say, he binds ropes the cow with a rope, and uh, with an anchor, say. And when the cow and the cow herd man, they have not strike a relationship, a trust is not being built up fully, then what does he do? He personally looks and he tries to kind of have some control over the cow and gives her less freedom to graze and all. But when the trust is more established, okay, the cowherd gives the cow a bigger rope or more freedom to graze. Further on, when more developed, what the cowherd even doesn't tie the cow with an anchor for the rope. He lets the cow to walk around in the field and go even more for walks and graze. And furthermore, okay, yes, go, and the cow will go and then knows where to return, where is home, where to return. So likewise, when we take more and more shelter of Krishna, more and more shelter of Bhagavad Gita, more and more shelter of Japa, then our degree of control, our degree of freedom uh, will expand a lot. Our degree of self control will expand a lot. Our degree of knowledge, wisdom will expand a lot. Then we will find ourselves more in control of life. And there has to be a process. A process has to be adopted. It is not in dry philosophy, doesn't help. Theory doesn't help. Any exam wherein just theory is asked and one can pass theory and make all the way through. No. Theory is nothing more than an introduction. That's it. To introduce someone. To just help someone visualize, to give someone an idea. But other than that, theory doesn't help. One has to be practical. So practical means what? Adopting a process, some lifestyle, some discipline, eating, sleeping, recreation habits changes, and what spiritual practice has to be adopted, which is what reading Bhagavad Gita, associating with devotees, chanting the holy names of Krishna, attending classes, going for pilgrimage, and furthermore, there is no question in this world which cannot be answered, which is not answered on the principles of Bhagavad Gita. There is no managerial or management or any philosophy which is not present in Bhagavad Gita. Nothing. All these slogans and whatever managerial thought, time management, and things, or whatever societal development we want to bring, the foundation is there in Bhagavad Gita. But we are such cheaters. We 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 bring some concept, but we don't say it is based on the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. We don't even know, but everything is there on the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. So this is why we should be taking Bhagavad Gita as the authority, and as it is the unadulterated message what Krishna spoke to Arjuna. He's speaking the same to us. Just we need to become like Arjuna. Arjuna what? The day we become like Arjuna, the same message will transpire our heart. Does that answer? Okay, let us read one or two more and then we'll go into Rajshri's question. Ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodam cha samashrita mamatma paradareshu prad pradvishanto abhaya shukaha. So Arohi will read us translation.
Bewildered by bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of the others, and
Blasphemy.
blaspheme against the real religion. A, de- a demonic person being always against God's
Supremacy.
supremacy does not like to believe in the scriptures. He is envious of both the scriptures and the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is caused by his so called prestige and his
Accumulation.
accumulation of wealth and strength. He does not know the present life is a preparation for the next life. Not knowing this, he is actually envious of his own self as well as of others. He commits violence on other bodies on his on his own. He does not care of the supreme control of the personality of Godhead because he has no knowledge. Being envious of the scriptures and the supreme personality of Godhead, he puts forward false arguments against the existence of God and denies the scriptures' authority. He thinks himself independent and powerful in every action. He thinks that since no one can equal him in strength, power, or wealth, he can act in any way and no one can stop him. If he has an enemy who might check the advancement of the sensual activities, he makes plans to cut him down by his own power. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion.
Haribol. Isn't Arohi a good reader, huh? Hmm. So bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demons become envious. One of the main symptom is what this envy, envy of the existence of God, or ignoring the existence of God. Uh, and lumping everything into as like energy, 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 but not anything into the energetic. This now, what is more degrading? Say, suppose you are standing on, we are in some street somewhere, huh? And people are passing by, and say we are asking for direction, and people are passing by and not even looking at us, not even looking at us, and we are asking for direction, be, being ignoring us completely. Is that more, uh, say, wrong than, uh, if asking for directions and people actually giving wrong directions, or if we are asking for gently something and people are shouting back at us, which is more grossly, say, what's the word, wrong, or which is more grossly, say, immoral or hurting or very low behavior? One is ignoring altogether, a person who is asking for direction but ignoring altogether, and another is person asking for direction but you are telling him something, shouting, replying back at him. What do you say? Vipakshi, Tanuja, Rajshi, Harsha. So, someone asking for direction and you replying back to him, you shouting at him or cursing him, that is more low than not even recognizing. Rajshri says misguiding curse is more low than not even recognizing. See, in misguiding or cursing, at least we acknowledge that there is some person standing here and he's saying something to us and we reply back to him. But in the former instance, we are not even seeing, we are not even acknowledging that someone is existing. Look within friends, family. One thing is, like, at least husband and wife say, huh? So wife may say to the husband, you have problem with me, then tell it out, but do not ignore me like this. Ignoring hurts more, that you do not even exist, than saying something. Saying something one can take in, okay, I'm asking for direction, but why for no reason you have had a blast at me, that is still okay. But look, existing but yet not taking into account, that is even more insulting. Even though existing but not taking, imagine, no, like, in family, friends, or some function, some gathering, you are there but not at all taken into account. It's like someone has arranged a big party, and we are so interested in the stage, the drama, the event, the food, the activities, the games, but we don't even care who set it up, who organized, who paid, who allotted, and I just like, okay, free drinks. Yeah, I go and take free drink. And when the person or someone tells actually it is him, I don't care. It doesn't exist, sort of. That's even more disrespectful. Mm. So the, you know, demonic, we all are. See, one thing is nature, lust, anger, greed, envy, and all. That is more of a, conditioning, some nature, some subhav, the nature thing. But this thing, enviousness and blaspheming the existence of God, blaspheming scriptures, blaspheming saintly people, one who is on these lines, he is a certified demonic person. He's a certified demonic person. Now, actually, in society, there are many who are good at heart, but because of impure association, they claim to be atheist. They don't have a solid reason or foundation. But why? Because they have seen so many churches, so many mosques, so many temples, so many priests and godly men misbehaving. They feel, okay, no, this God business is all nonsense business. So they want to shun away altogether. Huh? But tell you something, check it out. There's more wars being done outside of religion than because of religion. Hmm. World War One, World War Two, currently war, India-Pakistan war, this Israel-Palestine war, and Ukraine-Russia war, Afghanistan war, Iraq war, Iran war, so Yemen, this Yemen and Syria, and even before history, so many wars. There were more number of wars, more number of killings than what is there because of religion. There's corruption. I don't say that there are not corrupt religious people. There are, but there is otherwise also there are corruption. Hmm? There's all sorts of mistreatment, mishappening, all such discrimination and all in religion based as well and outside of religion based as well. So it is, yeah, it is not that every sadhu is a cheat. Some sadhus are cheat. Are not some doctors cheat? Some doctors also cheat. Some lawyers also cheat. Huh. And first of all, I need to find out, am I a cheat or not? Uh, How much clean am I? Why is a judge allowed to sit on the chair of judge? Why? Because he has education. He has gone through that process. He has gone through the tapasya, austerity of studying the proper law book, theory and practical. Hmm. Then over the years, he has shown a record and he's impartial. So he's allowed. So there, likewise, there is a process. One has to go through the process. One has to go through the process of purification to become pure. Huh? Like gold. Gold, it goes through fire, it goes through heat, all the austerity and process to ultimately become pure. So that doesn't mean like we stop taking the process, okay, of Krishna consciousness or spirituality for that matter. And if one reads Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, the definition of religion is what? Savai pamsan paro dharmo yator bhakti arodokshasya hetuki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. That is the highest form of religion, which promotes, which teach, which invokes, inculcates unmotivated, unconditional love for Supreme Personality of Godhead. Huh? And this is a principle no one can deny. And it is completely non-sectarian. Where is the sect thing in it? Completely non-sectarian. So, someone to be called as demoniac, it is not that he has grown horns on his head or he has colored his hair and those things. The real demoniac mentality is what? That enviousness of the existence of God, envious of spirituality, envious of scripture, and envious of those who practice and promote Krishna consciousness. And again, a major, a good chunk of people, they are uh, perhaps envious or atheist by because of ignorance, because of some good, genuine, simple ignorance. At heart, they are fine, and this is where sadhus they have to play a big role. Devotees, if we can somehow be friends with them and open up them to Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita before practicing Krishna consciousness, were us all atheist, and if so, in what capacity, in what understanding? Were we not carrying, are we still not carrying such mentalities, demonic mentalities? We are as well. But someone who is a gross blasphemer, that can be understood, yes. He or she is a gross blasphemer. Hmm. And they might have done some of the studies as well, all negative and all uh, out of jealousy and enviousness. An envious person can never be helped, shouldn't be dealt, should be left. Huh? Snake, what is the point in charming a snake? The very person who gives milk to the snake bites to that person. Uh, snake, the very person who gives milk, so snakes takes the energy from that person itself and bites that person. That is envious mentality, and that is real atheism. complete unadulterated atheism, uh, taking everything from God and discarding God, and no progress for that, no progress. This is something in line coming now to your question as well, uh, Rajshri, that the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme the real religion. So let's see 19 and a bit more. Tanaham dvishsata kruran sama samsareshu naradhaman shipami ajasram ashubhan ashurishva eva yonishu. So actually you only read translation and purport.
Hare Krishna. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. In this verse, it is clearly indicated that the placing of a particular individual soul in a particular body is the prerogative of the supreme will. The demoniac person may not agree to accept the supremacy of the Lord, and it is a fact that he may act according to his own whims. But his next birth will depend upon the decision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and not on himself. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, it is stated that an individual soul after his death is put into the womb of a mother where he gets a particular type of body under the supervision of superior power. Therefore, in material existence, we find so many species of life animals, insects, men, and so on. All are arranged by the superior power. They are not accidental. As for the demoniac, it is clearly said here that they are perpetually put into the wombs of demons, and thus they continue to be envious, the lowest of mankind. Such demoniac species of men are held to be always full of lust, always violent and hateful, and always unclean. The many kinds of hunters in the jungle are considered to belong to the demoniac species of life. Hare Krishna, those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life.
So Rajshri, this was your question, right? What scope or what hope is left for them if they are perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence? What is the way out, right?
Yes.
Hmm. So see, for someone who is very fixed up in demoniac, this envious, na. So for him, it is one thing only: gliding down and further down. Uh, that is sure into lower and lower hellish regions, lower and lower darker regions. And Shastras, we need to build our faith, and it is not blind faith, it is exercised faith. Mm. It is faith put into practice. So when we practice Krishna consciousness, we'll understand scriptures do not lie. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam do not lie. These are transcendental scriptures. And also practicing Krishna consciousness will understand how rare is this human form of life. At least on a surface level, we can somewhat understand, right? This circle thing which we just discussed, that I know how much I know that I know. Small circle. Then bigger circle, I know that I do not know. And way much bigger circle that I do not know that I do not know. So this is something for us to contemplate and all. And this should like help, I mean, make us feel, okay, what do I know? So likewise, human life is very rare, very rare. Uh, and eternity, we do not have a concept. We cannot understand what eternity means. We cannot understand it in words. It can be experienced through meditation only, in deep meditation. This is why our sadhana has to go very deep. We have to respect time, honor time, make most of the morning time, make most of the morning program, waking up early, shower, japa, and that time is so conducive, so suitable. And by regular practice, we have to go more and more deep in our bhajan in our, it has to go at our subconscious level. Then we can see yes the scriptures and the message of the scriptures. Otherwise, we will be haunted by doubt. Out of culture etiquette, we may not be speaking it upfront, but we'll like, does it make sense? Does it not make sense? And all. Mm. So, someone who is very envious, for him, this is the door, this is the thing, into further and further lower and lower realms. And in society also it is seen among friends, family members, one who is envious, no one wants to be around him. No, one wants to maintain distance. One wants to safeguard himself and maintain distance. Uh, Like very envious. See, there are people now, they are put into prison. Now, someone is put into prison some hours, some days, some months, some years, and one is put into prison for lifetime. And within prisons, so see, Rajshri, is it not? Within prisons, there are different rooms, different chambers. Huh? Within one big prison, some are given a room where no sharing, some are given room with sharing, some bunk beds, some arrangement, some are given room you cannot come out, food will come to you, and some are given a room wherein a dark room altogether. Even in that small dark room, bind up with chain, with little minimum sunlight, no sunlight, say, just whatever oxygen is there, breathe, take in, no food as well, no water, just be there. Sometimes no cloth also. This is this is real life, no? Material society. This is real life. Now a big prison, but some are given some even in some prisons, some are given a liberty. Okay, you can go out and work in the garden and play as well. huh? Some are given a liberty that okay, you help the warden maintaining register, so you do some admin work, a sort small office is set up inside prison though, but you help. Why? Because based on their character, based on their consciousness level, character say, based on their take. And someone who is very enviousness, full of envy, is put into further and further, deeper and deeper and darker cells. Say. So envy, there is no cure of envy. Cancer has a cure, right? But envy is like a sixth degree cancer. To certain extent, to some cancer, it has some cure. But envy is incurable cancer. It is incurable cancer. This is why time is the only healer. For them, your question, what hope and scope? They need suffering, they need punishment, they need that purification for longer and longer and longer duration. Time is the only thing. Mm. When naturally, then out of being burnt in that heat, in that hell for longer and longer duration, finally someone's ego will be a bit crushed, he will be a bit humble, and he will say, okay, fine, I need some water, please give me some water. Then come out of that cell for an hour, drink water, take food, go back to the cell. Then again come out. But if he's still envious, then okay, take water and go back inside. No more water as well. No more water. Uh, So that's fine. Fine, deeper and deeper they go. No hope. No hope. Definitely for someone who is envious, no hope. So we shouldn't deal. And this is look na, us we essentially preach to humans. Hmm? We preach essentially to humans. But Lord Shiva, he preaches what to ghosts as well and very envious persons. Us, we struggle to preach to a human who is a bit passionate. What to speak of to preach someone who is in ignorance. Hmm. And somehow we manage to somewhat have a dialogue with someone who is a bit in mode of goodness. Hmm. But look at Lord Shiva, such an exalted position, such an exalted personality, such an exalted service seva. So envious for us, we shouldn't really spend much time or deal with envious people because it is blasphemous to hear blasphemy. It is blasphemous to see blasphemy. It is blasphemous to be in that company. So, if we can give a strong reply, we should give a strong reply. Otherwise, we should back out. We should move out, and we should do strong japa. No, it is not wise to preach to envious people, and this is the hallmark of an envious person who is very God envy, scriptures envy, saintly people envy, and saintly activities envy, and they want to demolish all of this. So for them, that is the only way, deeper and deeper, darker and darker, and hardly any hope, hardly any hope. God helps those who help themselves, but they want to burn God Himself. Huh? They want to not only deny, they want to annihilate the existence of God altogether. From the society altogether, they want to annihilate actively, as we discussed that day. Na? Envy is what? Envy is the mother in law of jealousy, say. Or envy is the father of jealousy or elder brother of jealousy. Or envy is active jealousy. Envy is active jealousy. And an envious person cannot be ignorant. He's consciously envious. He knows that he has so much of hatred, so much of hatred. So they're atheists, they're not consciously as such atheists. They're atheists because they do not know or they want to look cool in society. Many young boys and girls, na, they want to look cool in society. That, oh, we want to sound cool, look cool, that science and all. They don't know science as well. They don't know how academic science works. No, they don't know the laws of science. They don't know science teachers and books and research and paper and what is the thing. But no science. They just they want to sound cool and they don't know the spiritual science, but they don't shy away just from refuting it. But still, they should be given some consolation because they're trying to act a bit smart, so fine. But those who are envious, they are studied envious, they are hardcore, and they are conscious envious, and no help for them. Just time. Time can heal. Material nature is healing them by putting in them in lower and lower regions. Time is also healing them, and Krishna doesn't want to intervene. No, he doesn't because for the benefit of that person itself. Of course, no one is in separation from Krishna in the sense Krishna exists everywhere. So in the deeper and deeper regions of hell also he exists, but he's not having any dialogue. He's not having any dialogue. Does this answer your question, Rajshi?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Lust, greed, anger, pride, and illusion, these are still, yes, these are something person's nature and can be worked upon. And Kali Yuga, na, hodgepodge. Kali Yuga, hodgepodge. In one sample, hodgepodge meaning split personality, na? Dual, triple, treble, four time, what, hexagon, octagon, what not personality we are. So many Makuta, so many faces we put up. We do not know what our real identity is. That is Kali Yuga. At least in Satyuga it was, or before ages, it was a bit clear. Oh, he's a straight person, or he's a dodgy person. But to some we are straight, to others we are dodgy, in different degrees and all. But now life is to divine and demonic nature. We have to be on the looking forward towards Krishna, on the way to Krishna. And again, these qualities, they are not in our they're not our mother-in-law that we need to really be very. We don't have personally as such to do with these qualities. Our personal business is with Radha and Krishna. But what to do to attract the attention of Krishna? Purity is required. That is why we are interested in purity. Otherwise, we do not have any personal agenda with purity. Hmm. But it is all to attract the mercy of Krishna. Any other thoughts, questions, or comments? Yes, please. Hmm. So there's a saying: a lesson hard learned is a lesson hard to forget. For a gentle, wise person, it is hard to forget. Someone who is uh, open up, someone who is wanting to be corrected and all. But someone who is very envious also, na, he doesn't learn the lesson. He doesn't take in, even though he's very hard, thick-headed. He wouldn't take it. So puffed up, so with his ego, so puffed up. But someone who is a bit sane, say, yeah, lesson hard learned is very hard to forget. But I feel check in society, we speak a lot on learning. No, like maybe when I was in school year 10, I had a tough time with some students or teachers or some subject, but I learned a lesson. Job, I learned a lesson. But I wonder how much actually have I learned. It is mostly in theory only. Because see, I encounter with a problem and I with time the problem passes. And what do I say to myself as a consolation and others also? Don't worry, still there was learning. Na? You grew, came out of it, you learned from it and all. And I also, yes, I learned. But imagine after 6 months the same problem comes. After 6 months, similar shape of problem comes. Where do I stand? Do I still go back to the same place? Yes, more or less. More or less. So without adopting Krishna consciousness, there is no learning. Cannot say that I have learned out of it. That is just in theory. I'm trying to tell myself that I have learned out of it. Until and unless I properly situate myself in Krishna consciousness, and that properly situation at the level of conviction, nishta, or at the level of ruchi, interest, then yes, I can say yes, I'm learning. Otherwise, hardly learning. Uh, every time, like so many times, oh no, I should not get angry. And then again, I become angry. Same thing, but next time, so much, okay, next time, if such an incident happen, I won't get angry. Or next time, such an incident happens, I won't get worried. But we do good. But still, as sadhakas, we should not be worrying or we should not entertain thinking any much on those lines. Uh, we should little bit we should check how am I progressing or not, but we shouldn't get any hung up with it. Just continue. Krishna consciousness, victory is in participation, not in winning the race. Mm. Our certificate is in participating, in continuing with the race, not in winning the race. We are not here to win the race. We are here to continue participating. Winning the race means a dead, means an end. There's no end in Krishna consciousness. Winning the race means job done. It is never a job done. It is an ongoing, ever growing, ever excelling thing. So it is always, we want to be on that continuous excellence trajectory. So two things: become humble. Hmm? Humble person means he is living in a no complaint zone. He is easygoing person. That is humble. He's out of his comfort zone. Then he is doing things proper. He knows what is right, but we do not know how to do it properly. We know what is right. It is right to chant, but we do not do proper japa. Huh? We know what is right. It is right to study Bhagavad Gita, but we struggle to do proper study. So now we are in the, say, the position or platform of right. At least we are not doing wrong things. We are not into gross meat eating, gambling, illicit sex, and intoxication. We are doing the right things, but now we do it properly. So this doing the right thing properly will come with taking good association. taking good higher association, inspiring association. The sadhus, again, the sadhus' potency is in speech. Is speech very powerful, very powerful. So when we listen from a sadhu, that words coming from the mouth of a sadhu, that will create revolution in one's heart. That can create revolution in one's heart. Then one's calculation, understanding, definition of life will change altogether for all good. So yeah, we have to become easygoing if we want to be easily accessible to Krishna, or if we want Krishna to have easy access to us, or if we want to easily avail Krishna, become easygoing. Someone who is easygoing, he can easily attain Krishna. Easily. Easygoing meaning no complaints. Easygoing meaning one who is humble. Humility and love, they are synonymous. And humility is to be protected in Krishna consciousness. And before protecting, humility is to be understood what it means. It is to be attained and it is to be preserved and protected very much. Okay, any other thoughts, questions, or comments or clarification? All right, so reading all this demonic nature, I'm sure we all are very enthused. We all are very. Yeah. See, in life we need to know both things, the good and the bad as well, hmm, the rights and the wrongs as well. We have to learn from our mistakes, but more so we have to learn from others' mistakes because we cannot afford to commit all the mistakes by ourselves. huh. So we have to learn from our mistakes, that is fine, but more so from others' mistakes as well. So this is why it is important to know demoniac nature as well. But for ourselves, like Krishna told na Arjuna, that Arjuna, you do not worry, you are a divine nature. You are a divine personality. Likewise, we are also divine. We are chanting Hare Krishna Baba. We are chanting the Maha Mantra. We are reading, hearing. We have some conditioning but we are purifying ourselves now. So we shouldn't be. This is again self pity is another thing. Humility is one thing, but self pity is another thing. Humility doesn't mean self pity. Sometimes, with lack of knowledge, we may just go on butchering or beating ourselves. "Oh, I'm so fallen, and I'm good for nothing." No, we should never entertain such negative thoughts to ourselves. Yes, we have to improve. That is there. As long as we participate in journey, we will find first relaxation and then we'll relish the process. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So thank you very much for your kind attention and participation. We meet up another day and we'll continue next time from chapter 16 and text 20 onwards. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.